Sometimes catching the last bus of the night means more than missing your bedtime. It can be an eerie experience, especially when the city is cloaked in darkness and silence. The streets are deserted, and the only sound is the distant hum of the bus engine. The air is thick with an unsettling stillness, as if the city itself is holding its breath. Kevin, a weary office worker, boards the last bus of the night, exhausted from a long day at work. His eyes are heavy, and his mind is clouded with fatigue. He barely notices the empty streets as he steps onto the bus, his thoughts consumed by the desire to get home and collapse into bed. The bus is nearly empty, with only a few silent passengers scattered throughout. Kevin finds a seat near the back and pulls out his phone, hoping to distract himself from the eerie quiet. He scrolls through his social media feed, the glow of the screen casting a faint light on his tired face. Minutes pass, and Kevin begins to feel a growing unease. He looks up from his phone and notices something strange. No one has moved. The passengers sit frozen in their seats, their eyes staring blankly ahead. The bus driver, too, is eerily still, his gaze fixed on the road ahead. Kevin's heart starts to race. He checks the time on his phone. 3:06 a.m. He swipes at the screen, but it won't respond. Panic sets in as he realizes that something is very wrong. He looks around, hoping to find someone who can explain what's happening, but the passengers remain motionless, their faces devoid of any emotion. Suddenly, Kevin's attention is drawn to a woman sitting in the front row. Her head slowly turns, and he feels a chill run down his spine as he realizes that her head has turned completely backward. She stares at him with hollow, lifeless eyes, and Kevin feels a wave of terror wash over him. Desperate to escape, Kevin rushes to the front of the bus, hoping to get the driver's attention. He grabs the driver's shoulder, but the man doesn't react. Instead, he slowly turns to Kevin and whispers in a chilling voice, "You were never supposed to get on." The bus comes to a sudden stop, jolting Kevin out of his daze. The lights flicker, casting eerie shadows on the walls. When the lights stabilize, Kevin realizes that he is alone. The passengers have vanished, leaving him in an empty, silent bus. Kevin looks out the window and sees that the city outside looks different. The buildings are old and abandoned, and the streets are empty. The once familiar cityscape has transformed into a desolate, ghostly version of itself. Kevin feels a sense of dread as he realizes that he is no longer in the city he knows. The bus doors creak open, and Kevin hears a whisper from outside. "Last stop." The voice is eerie and otherworldly, sending shivers down his spine. He hesitates, unsure of what to do. The silence is oppressive, and the darkness outside seems to beckon him. Kevin takes a step toward the door, his heart pounding in his chest. He feels a sense of foreboding, as if stepping off the bus will lead him into an unknown and terrifying world. But he knows he can't stay on the bus forever. With a deep breath, he takes another step, and the screen cuts to black. "Would you step off the bus?" The question lingers in the air, leaving the viewer to ponder what they would do in Kevin's situation. The story leaves us with a sense of unease, a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary moments can turn into our worst nightmares. The last bus of the night is more than just a means of transportation. It's a journey into the unknown, a ride that can take you to places you never imagined. As Kevin's story shows, sometimes the most mundane experiences can become the stuff of nightmares. So the next time you find yourself on the last bus of the night, remember Kevin's story and be prepared for anything. The flickering lights, the silent passengers, the eerie stillness, these are the elements that make the last bus of the night a setting for horror. Kevin's experience is a reminder that we are never truly alone, even when it seems like we are. There are forces at work that we cannot see, and sometimes they make themselves known in the most unsettling ways. As Kevin steps off the bus and into the unknown, we are left to wonder what awaits him. The abandoned city, the eerie voice, the vanished passengers. All of these elements create a sense of dread and anticipation. Kevin's journey is far from over, and we can only imagine what horrors lie ahead. The bus doors creak open, inviting Kevin to step into a world of darkness and mystery. The voice outside whispers again, "Last stop." Kevin takes a deep breath and steps forward, his fate unknown. The screen cuts to black, leaving us with a sense of unease and curiosity. Would you step off the bus? The question lingers, challenging us to confront our own fears and uncertainties. Kevin's story is a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary moments can become extraordinary, and the most familiar places can become strange and terrifying. So the next time you find yourself on the last bus of the night, remember Kevin's story and be prepared for anything. Kevin takes a step toward the door, and the screen cuts to black. The story leaves us with a sense of unease, a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary moments can turn into our worst nightmares. Would you step off the bus? Would you step off the bus?